Assalamu alaikum. Inshallah, you're well, guys. So, one of the biggest tips I give you guys in succeeding for a grad or a school leaver apprenticeship role is do your research. Research the organization you've applied for, research the market, and research the competitors. Because without research, you don't really have a good chance of succeeding. So I thought it would be a good idea for me to release videos quite regularly where I'm talking about what's going on in our industry. And the reason why is you can inshallah use that research in your interviews and stand out. So inshallah, I'm going to talk about both positive and negative news and show you how even when we're presented with negative news, we can turn that into a positive. And what I'll also do is to help you guys with your research, I'm going to post my sources of information, the links to where I'm getting the information from, so that you can use those similar sites to help you guys do your research and inshallah succeed at the interview stage. So today I'm going to speak about Bill Michael. Now you may have heard of Bill Michael because he's been over the news in the past week, and he is the chairman of Kpmg UK and a senior partner in the financial services division. Now you guys know financial services look after clients in the banking, insurance, and credit card industries. Those are just some of the examples. So he came under fire last week because of comments he made in a team call with over 500 people from the financial services division. So he said along the lines of, stop moaning about the impact of the pandemic and stop playing the victim card. Now, I can tell you now, those were not very smart comments to make. Now, working for a Fortune 100 company, I could tell you firsthand that my company, along with other large companies, are very concerned about the risk that working from home poses and the detrimental impact it can have on your mental health. And I can tell you now, in my organization, associate well-being and health and safety has been elevated to a core goal. It's a core objective of ours. So for Bill Michael to say stop moaning or stop playing the victim card is just not on. So swiftly after the call, he issued an apology, realizing that he had offended some people within his team. And then shortly after that, he stepped aside. He announced he was stepping aside, and Kpmg announced there would be an independent investigation. I think it would be conducted by the firm Linklaters. But that's not the only thing he said. So Bill Michael also said in that call that there is no such thing as unconscious bias. Now for me, that's the more concerning statement. So you're probably thinking at this stage, what is unconscious bias? So unconscious bias is a stereotype that you form against an individual or a group of people unknowingly. And that's the key bit, that you do it unknowingly. And it may amount to prejudice if it's against a protected characteristic such as race. However, I want to make clear that if you show unconscious bias, that does not mean that you are racist. Because if you think about racism, if you use a racist term or perform an act which is considered racist, you probably do that knowingly. Right? The key difference with unconscious bias is you do that without knowing. So that was a bit complicated, right? Let me give you some practical examples. So unconscious bias can happen in the recruitment process. So say if a school leaver and a graduate are going for the same job, and the hiring manager is someone who went to university. They may feel, or their unconscious bias kicks in, that the university graduate is more suitable for the role. They may hire that university graduate simply because they relate more to that person. That's called affinity bias, where you share the same characteristics or values. So instead of giving the school leaver a fair chance, they automatically gone for the university graduate. Unconscious bias is kicked in. Let me give you another example. So I'm a Muslim. Muslims can't go to the pub, but that is part of the work culture. Now, you may ask me to go to the pub and I'll make up an excuse or say I'm busy, I can't go. And you may automatically think, oh, Fez has never gone to the pub with us. He's not fun. You've made an assumption about me. But you haven't paid due consideration that actually the reason I don't go is because it's against my religion. That's unconscious bias. Let me give you a work-based example. So say you're a director in an organization. You had a particular project and you asked a grad to work on it and they did good work for you. So another project comes up and you're automatically thinking, well, you know what, I'm going to go to that grad again because he did a good job for me last time or she did a good job for me last time. So it's just going to be easier for me if I give it to them again. But there may be other graduates in the team who you haven't considered for the role. You've again shown unconscious bias. So you can see how it's actually very common in all walks of life. So for Bill Michael to say there's no such thing as unconscious bias, I'm sorry, but that's just ridiculous. And unconscious bias is not something that's been recently discovered. Companies and large organizations have been aware of this for the past 10 years. And actually, if you work for a large organization, the chances are you will have done some form of unconscious bias training. So anyway, Bill Michael actually resigned and stepped aside from his role as chairman, and he was replaced by a lady called Bina Mehta, who's another partner at Kpmg. And there was also an opportunity for Mary O'Connor. So Mary O'Connor replaced him as the senior partner. So she was taking over his day-to-day executive responsibilities. And it was a great win for Kpmg because they showed that they could replace someone who was seen as old school like Bill Michael with two powerful women, which looks great. And if you're in an interview with Kpmg and they ask you why Kpmg, you can use this as an example. Right? Don't focus too much on the negative. Say the issue with Bill Michael was unfortunate, but it's great to see how Kpmg recovered from that by showing it's committed to diversity by promoting two women. So you can see how even though that's a negative piece of news, you can turn that into a positive if you're at an interview. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. Inshallah, let me know. Give me feedback. Are these videos actually benefiting you? Are they helping you with your research? I'm going to leave the links to the sites where I found this information in the description below. So check them out if you want to look into this issue further. And as always, if you have any comments or any questions, please feel free to either comment below or message me on Instagram.